I do have a question here from somebody who's interested in being able, like, how do we get volunteers for Desert Bus? And that's a series of, like, you have to email the website, like, after the run is over, essentially. And there's never any real intake that's like, we don't have, like, auditions or things along that line.
We have put out calls for...
Yeah.
I mean, I can speak to that because I just went through that process.
Sure.
So, yeah, there's a form. It's on the website, somewhere on desertbus.org. You can find the form to fill out. It's just a Google form. I filled out that form several years ago.
Yep.
There's not new volunteers needed very frequently. But yeah, did a little interview process with Sarah and James, talked about my experience and why I wanted to be part of Desert Bus, and I guess they liked me, so here I am.
Nice.
People don't leave.
Yeah.
That's such a much more elaborate process than when I started.
Right?
Oh, see, I had
two?
it. Mine was with Kathleen and Serge. So that was interesting.
I got in while it was still just email Kathleen before there was a Google form, and then video interviews with Johnny.
I didn't have a form either. I think I just emailed, but then I had an interview with Serge and Kathleen.
I walked in, hung out with them for a little while, and then they all got up to leave for the night and leave Morgan to play the game overnight. And I went, "Is everybody leaving?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Do you want a second birthday?" They said, "Sure." And then I stayed forever.
Yeah.
And that's why we don't need new volunteers.
Yeah. Because everybody stays forever. How people and question in chat: how many people apply here? Lots, lots.
And there are pretty specific. Obviously, you have to be able to not only take time off, but come to Victoria, which not everybody can do.
I specifically offered to make a batch of blondies in my
bribery
here email sent to Kathleen.
I listed the most random set of qualifications I possibly could. And I don't remember what all I put in it now, but it was...
I don't either. Because I think James went through first and put together a small list, and then then was like, all right, here's this list of names.
And it's in particular, like, if there's, specific, like, obviously, if you have experience in video or audio or, lighting or computer stuff, or what, if you have specific proficiencies that you think might be useful.
Yep.
Oh, it does not have autofocus.
It's by and large, like, considering the all the teams that we have here. If you're like, oh, hey, communications, that sounds interesting. Do they have someone who does that kind of thing? Or if you're like somebody who's like, I'm a PR professional for the last 15 years, right? It's like, that's a thing to point out. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we'll be like, oh, this person sounds way more qualified than the three that we've had here already, so we're gonna get rid of them. Like, the process is what it is. It's not a thing that there's a lot of people who apply, and that should not be a reason for you to not apply if you're interested in applying to be a part of it. But you have to have that realistic expectation. Like David was like, having to wait years to hear back about whether there'd be an opening or something, because it all depends on what's happening.
It's funny, actually. I think I applied the year Boomer started.
Oh, okay.
And of course, during the pandemic and things, that we sort of contracted quite a bit. The sort of the team that sort of takes the office manager team that manage all the food and the keeping everything clean and doing all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't needed as many people.
It's diminished
doing
a
that
lot.
role.
Yeah.
We've had just less people in general, so it's it changes the dynamic a little bit.
Yep.